Hello and welcome on in Unity community. My name is Jackson. I am one of your community managers here, and we are live for another official Unity live stream on twitch.tv/Unity as well as Unity's YouTube pages. Thank you so much for being here for the grand finale, the epic conclusion of our global game jam efforts here. Of course, if you've been here for the last two streams, we have had the team together. We have assembled Team Unity here to create something wonderful in the week of Global Game Jam. If you are here watching live on Twitch and YouTube, thank you so very much. Be aware, this is a conversation we would love to hear from you. Hop in the chat, even if you want to then disappear into the void and settle into your lurk mode. You can do that, but I just want to know where in the world you are tuning in from. If you are watching later on a VOD style format here on YouTube, you can go and check that navigation bar at the bottom of the screen and hop to the sections that most appeal to you. But again, thank you so very much for hanging out with us today. We are hanging with Team Unity. We're showing off our game. We're also going to open up the hood a little bit and show you a handful of the inner working. So we're going to play the game, the Tenebrous, that the group has been working so hard on. And we're going to dive into a little bit of the production pipeline and show off some of those tools. We're going to talk through some of the challenges that the team encountered. We're going to then look at the project in Unity, showing off how we created our enemies, what our playable character systems looks like, what the level design process was like, and if we have any time for Q&A, any curiosities that you guys might have, we have a section earmarked for that. And if you guys have any questions throughout the show, don't feel like you have to wait. Pop them in the chat whenever you got. If you want to know how the team accomplished something, what they were thinking or feeling or motivated by in certain moments, just let us know. We'll connect you guys with the team and it will be gravy. Again, if you guys are hanging out, I'm so grateful. Monkeys like bananas are on the Twitch side. So is DJ Turn, Reign of Jazz. It's great to see you over on the YouTube side. I want to say hey to the Bull, to Green, maybe Gangster, but we've got V's where A's should be. Hard to know for sure. Mohammed, Craftroom Zen, Charles Zadev. Everybody, welcome on in. Davina Duckworth, of course, it's great to see you. Fredo is here as well. Thank you for coming to hang out, everyone. Always a fantastic time to bring the Unity community together and connect game devs from around the world. Fredo is tuning in from Guadalupe, which is very cool. And I know that Manu has been on streams in the past, and that's where he grew up, which is very cool. Before we dive into the meat and potatoes of today's stream, we are going to one more time show off and put in chat the survey. I've been doing a survey for the entire month of January so far. We would like to hear from you guys. A little bit about you, a little bit about what type of stream content you want to see. This is all in an effort to bring you exactly what you want and know how we want to build this community in a way that you guys look forward to coming to the content every week. Right now, again, we're live every Thursday and the occasional Tuesdays. If you guys want to stay fully up to date on where and when we will be streaming, the Discord is available. And if you are unfamiliar with Discord, we have events that are rolling there that you can sign yourself up for. Little reminders. They will appear on the top side of the screen. It is very organized, if I say so myself. We've also got Mert tuning in from Turkey. We've got SS hanging out. It's great to see you. And I think without further ado, let's bring in Team Unity. We're bringing the gang back together. That's right. Phones down, class. The stream is live. Welcome back, Team Unity. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Sleepy.
We're good.
We're good.
Sleepy is a good one.
Sleepy's a good one. It's a Tuesday. If it makes you feel better, James, before the stream started, the legend themselves, the Bull, was hanging out in the chat, and I said, "Happy Thursday," and they said, I didn't even notice. They said, "I wish," and I went, "Oh no, maybe they're not having a good day." And it wasn't until the stream started that I went, it's Tuesday. It's not even Thursday. So I get you. It's a sleepy one. But welcome back. It's great to have you, of course. Unity community, if you've been hanging out for the last week or so, we've had this team on a couple of streams last week as well. We kicked off our game jam efforts with a whiteboarding, brainstorming, planning session, which was super fun and very, I said it a million times, I was so fired up. It was so motivating and exciting. And then last Thursday, we had a working session where we got in, we did some character modeling, we did some made minor systems, and went through a lot of the game design doc stuff as well, which was super fun. But we're back today for the epic conclusion, the grand finale, to show off the work that you guys have done. I've been in and out of the process. I have tried to take a step back just to let you guys do your thing so that I could be fully surprised. So we're going to play the game today, which is fantastic. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go for another round of introductions here. This time, who you are, what you do at Unity, and what you worked on for this game. And we're going to start with Sarah, and we'll go clockwise.
All right. What's up, everyone? I'm Sarah. I am a content producer for the Unity Pro Training team. So we make professional training content. You can check us out, protraining.unity.com. And for this game jam, I mostly did enemy AI. Oh my God, what else did I do? I don't know. I did some other stuff, but I honestly, like, it's all a blur, dude. It's like so much. I don't know. Brain is mush.
That's very par for the course, and we'll talk about it because I hopped into a meeting yesterday and the energy was frantic excitement.
Yeah.
And I want to share that story, but
mostly frantic.
I want to get into.
I'm curious to hear your perspective from that.
What was that like for you?
I'm very excited. I'll talk about it in a second, but I want to welcome James to the show. James, let everybody know.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm James. I am the lead of content production at Unity. So what I do is manage the team that builds all of the wonderful tutorials on Unity Learn. So if you've used those tutorials and they've helped you, would love to hear it in the chat. So definitely, let me know. And then what I worked on on the game was mostly game design and the level design. So excited.
And we're going to be taking a look at both of those things. You also did the whole, well, maybe not the whole, but a lot of the game design doc, and managed a lot of the narrative, which we'll be showing off a little bit more of today as well. So I'm very excited for both of those things. Sarah, James, welcome. Last but absolutely never least, we've got Joy. Basically a mainstay. You're basically a co-host at this point. It's so good to have you. Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and what you made for this game.
Intro file loading. Hi, everybody. My name is Joy Horvath. I'm a senior program manager at Unity, and I lead the Elevate program. The purpose of Elevate is to help people in our community get their first job in games. Not perfect, but it gets the point across. My brain, it is fried. So I worked on the art and the programming for the game. So yeah.
That's enough.
Yay!
Don't feel like you have to fill the time. That's my job. So don't stress about it. So let's speak generally before we dive into everything. How y'all feeling? Like, I know a game jam experience, like the running narrative it's tiring. We always tell people get snacks, make sure you have food, make sure you have water, make sure you have appropriate amount of caffeine. We stretched it out. Listen, so for Global Game Jam, it ended on Sunday. You guys worked yesterday, but you also didn't do a ton of work through the weekend. This is your job. We don't want you spending your free time working. So we tried to basically allot the same amount of time, but in just different ways. How are you guys feeling energy level wise and confidence wise in what you guys have created?
Oh, we made something special. We did it. Like, I'm feeling great about that. What about you guys?
I'm the same way. So I was saying before, I had this vision of what this game would look like and feel like in my head. And somehow the three of us got that vision to be an actual thing. Like it literally looks and plays exactly how I thought it was going to. And so I'm super excited to share that with y'all.
I don't think I've ever done a game jam where the game actually worked at the end. This is like the first time I've ever done a game jam where it's like, oh, I actually have a game.
the fact that there is more than just the start menu. Like
It's big.
we have like a system of menus at the start. We have a functioning pause. We have an end game screen. Like, frankly, it's kind of nuts that we did all this for
7 days. We did it in 7 days.
And
Yeah.
the thing
Oh my
is, though,
gosh.
is like, really, we didn't like start working in earnest until Thursday. So
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
like, it's crazy, like what we accomplished. Like, I'm so proud of you guys. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, we did it, and it's like an actual game. And like, man, wait till you hear the audio that because James also did the audio. Like, I don't think you called that out, James, but you pulled all the music, and like we could talk about it more, but like, man,
This
it's
game has
good.
vibes. This game has its own vibe for sure.
It's a
Yep.
game you can play.
It's a game you can play. So
yeah, straight up.
my first experience, and some of you Unity community hanging out right now, we're hopefully there as well. But we did Crazy Web Game Jam in November as well. And I got to say that getting to the end of that and being like, okay, so this is a game jam. Okay, this was our prototype. I literally remember setting up for the stream and you guys being like, it's not as much of a game as it, like, maybe a prototype. So I literally went through and like changed all the titles to be like, we made a prototype instead of like, we made a game, come check it out. It was like, we made something, come and hang out.
It's an experience.
Yeah. So now for you guys to be like, it's a game and it works and we created something, and I'm really excited for that. And again, the amount of energy that you guys are carrying towards this makes me so happy as well. To be able to kind of pull you guys in and be a part of it is so exciting. There's a question here from Zeta Tester, and it's one that I intended to ask anyways. How many, so they asked how many devs worked on it in total, but let's talk about like kind of the time allocation. There's 3 of us. Kirk was in and out. How many hours do you think each of you guys put in to work on this?
Oof.
I had allocated myself 15 hours.
Okay.
Definitely more than that. I want to say I spent like, oh, dude, I don't even know. More than 15.
Unless there's managers on the stream, in which case she worked exactly 15.
Mhm.
Look at more.
Oh no, we already spoke. He knows.
Okay, no.
Okay,
I said, "Hey, dude,
flowers."
I need more time. We have a game. It's almost there. And now we have a game."
Sarah, if they come back to me and they're like, you can't have Sarah for any more live streams because the time allotment just doesn't work, I'm going to be so upset with you.
Now, honestly, I think it was like 18 to 20 hours.
Cool. That's good. James, Joy, any guesstimates?
I feel like it might have been like double that, maybe.
Whoa, okay.
maybe.
So
Yeah, you went
There-
you
there-
went nuts.
There were a couple late nights.
Yeah, so last night James and I were on Discord back and forth. The
Yeah,
last
we were up until
session-
1:30 in the morning last
Yeah.
night.
So
What?
he went to dinner, I went to dinner. When I came back to dinner, we were continually talking for 5 hours. And then I just did the math, James.
Oh.
So, and then we were also working before that. And then we worked over the week. I don't know. You know what? Games have no inherent value through time, man.
Also, time is made up anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Don't even-
man.
It's made up.
You know,
Let's just say, like, from Thursday on, it's pretty
Perfect.
continuous.
I
No,
should probably
we can
know.
also just say we spent a necessary amount of time on this game. That's
Yep.
Yes.
Easy.
The 20 hours I just said, that was like during work hours. I'm not counting like what time was I woke up at like 6 in the morning, just like naturally, and I was like,
Crazy.
time to work on the game.
So let me ask you this. Joy, you did Crazy Web Game Jam. Sarah and James, it's been a minute since you guys have jammed. Do you feel that this has kind of reignited a spark within you to get more involved in creating and making your own projects?
For me, I will say Joy has succeeded in bringing me
This was
back.
Joy's master plan.
It was. Yes, I haven't game dev'd in years, probably since before joining Unity, about 7 years now. And so I was nervous coming back into it because I thought, like, well, what if I just forgot all of my Unity knowledge? Even though I work at Unity and we build tutorials and I'm in it here and there. I'm not in there deving. And so it was definitely a completely just, I don't know, maybe a revitalizing experience as a game developer. I got super, just like, as you'll see, I got super into the game design, the lore, making sure that everything was a cohesive experience. And it's got me excited about like just future game design stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go maybe a little overboard, but I even like had created another game design in the middle of this game.
You were like so inspired. Oh, but these pieces don't fit. I could break this off and make it.
Not even thing. That.
No?
I just like had it was on Saturday, just like I had a random game idea thought, and then I created a game design document and kind of just ran with it. And so needless to say, yes, they pulled me back in.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so thrilled. Like, that's the entire point. Yes, this was my master plan. Because like seriously, like I really think that if somebody, like, you know, if you talk about like what's your purpose in life, I really feel like my purpose in life might be to just inspire people to want to make games. And so like it makes me so happy that James is like into it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I've always been into it. It's just I always prioritize everything else. I'm like, oh, I'm too busy. I got work stuff.
And, game dev.
Game dev. Felix says, you guys are really building this up. Really hyped to see it. It's also going to be my first time seeing it as well. We talked a little bit about how essentially I popped into one of your meetings yesterday just to be like, hey, let's make sure that we're all buttoned up for the show. And you guys were in the middle of something and the frantic energy was palpable. It was very exciting. It was very enjoyable. Honestly, it was high tension, but like with focus and dedication to it. And at that point in time, Joy had opened it up and we were talking about something different. And we just saw Joy like vibrating in the seat. And then Joy was like, it works. We got a game and it works and we can play it. And then I literally remember you being like, we did it. And if that's the case, that means I have time to add other stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And then you're telling me you were up till 1
boy,
last
did
night.
she add.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So the plan is for me to open it up and play it for the first time live on the stream. It'll be my first experience with it. You guys can kind of coach me through it if you feel like you want to show off specific things. I'll try to use my expert gaming prowess to go and check out everything that you send me to. But I'm really excited for people to see it. Then we'll kind of work backwards. We'll go through some of the narrative stuff. We'll go through some of the pre-production. We'll talk through some of the challenges. We'll open up some of the systems. And I'm very, very excited. We also have the link available. Do we want chat to have an opportunity to play it, or do we want to hold off?
Can we share it? Let's maybe like
after
have everyone
so you
watch.
can pay attention. We don't want you guys distracted. Eyes on Jackson as he plays.
Everyone pay attention to my A+ expert gaming everything. All right.
Do not put us in the corner of your screen.
No, this is time. And like, listen, we're a lurk friendly space. If you guys have other stuff that you have to go and do and you want to leave us on in the background, A-okay. But now is the moment where you come back. All right. We've got Izzle Mac with the excitement. We've got Big P Turn. We absolutely love it. Mert is here as well. Let's go. I'm ready. I have this pulled up. I'm ready to go.
It's happening.
Expert gaming ahead. Made with Unity, in case anybody was unaware.
Oh my God, it loads.
We can't hear music.
The audio? I think you have it muted.
Muted. Producer, if we can pop away from my screen share so that I can reload it with the audio, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Ooh, distraction.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like increasing.
You don't notice anything.
Increasing the level of tension and anticipation.
Ooh, shiny object. Ooh.
All right, we back. And can you hear everything?
How to play,
yes.
The credits. You got to click all the buttons before you.
I didn't. I got excited. Long ago,
Okay,
our planet Soldera used to be covered in aurora that became the light source for our solar system. For millions of years, it shone so bright that the light pierced the clouds. Where no one dared to or however over time. Okay, I thought we were diving. Also, there is a situation where we cannot control the audio of the screen share. So if we end up in a situation where it's just taking over, we can go back and mute it. But I know that we put in specific efforts for the screen share, or for the audio. So as long as we get it a little bit of spotlight. I know it's loud.
Just
we'll
loud.
work on
Headphone
it.
warning.
Where was I? However, over time, the brightness of this light waned without any explanation. Today, the only light that remains surrounds you, an astronaut, who has mysteriously found yourself in the middle of space with no recollection of how you arrived or how long you've been here. The only thing that appears to be protecting you from the vacuum of space is a bubble dome made of golden light. However, your safety won't last. This light appears to be fading, and your only option is to explore the cosmic void in search of answers.
Ooh.
Okay.
Exciting! Zeta tester already loving the sci-fi vibes.
And it loaded. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in WASD, correct?
Yeah.
You're in WASD. Yeah, because you didn't.
If you need the controls, and see how to play, press escape.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll press it again.
Hold on, it's because...
Oh, does
Oh,
escape not
click,
work in
click,
Chill?
click.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Okay. Nope. Escape just minimizes my window.
No, so when it minimizes it, press it again, and there's a pause menu.
There it is.
Okay.
How to play.
How to play.
WASD, spacebar, got it. Crush it. Find and rescue all 5 astronauts to save our world. Avoid the Tenebrous and its purple traps at all costs. Okay, use light beams to distract it. I'm with you.
And escape again.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. All right. So I'll be...
Tenebrous is already there.
The slow turn, fantastic. The light emitting from the orbs, great. Also, in my head, always picture this as 2-dimensional, and the amount of depth that I have is very exciting.
Do you see that flashing light in the distance? That's mysterious.
Whee! Okay, and I have reserves. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The light orbs lighting up the space.
You could recollect.
What happens if you hover over the light orbs?
Recollecting.
You should hold on to them.
Oh yeah,
This
'cause
is
limited
great.
resource.
Yeah, Joe calling out, this is like 2.75D.
Nice. We just invented a new perspective for games.
Okay, we got a little floaty device.
You got to get around that I-beam, sir. Oh,
Okay. Oh, it's another astronaut. Exciting. Oh, friends! Okay, great.
hit that boy home.
Friendship. The music is very impressive, if still very loud.
Get him home. He needs his home.
Okay, so we're gonna rejoin our bubble. Boost increased. Very nice. So, do I now have more?
You do. More
Bubbles?
boost. No.
More boost and
Same
more
amount of bubbles.
Same
The bubbles
more
get
boost.
recharged every time you go in, and the boost gets upgraded every time you save an astronaut.
This is awesome. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
first enemy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, terrifying. I don't want that. I don't like it. I don't know what it
okay.
is or where it is. I died.
That's not supposed.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
I died.
You died.
Does my progress continue?
Unfortunately,
No.
it does not.
That's all right. I'm gonna speedrun this.
There you go.
Just
It
remember,
was
you're
just a
gonna
practice
use all your
round. That was
boost.
the first round.
My astronaut training is about to pay off. That's all that we're doing here.
Uh-oh.
Oh shoot! Ah!
Oh,
I'm out of
no.
boost. The speedrun was a bad idea.
Oh man, you made it through. Okay, you
It's
got
okay.
Oh.
Oh, it's so
Oh.
close.
Oh my god.
You hit
Oh,
the
you gotta get
purple
away.
trap. You weren't supposed to hit it.
I'm so slow. Get me out of here.
That's
You
why
got
gotta
2
stay
bubbles
close.
left.
It's okay.
Leave me alone, smoke
it likes the
monster!
light. It likes the light.
Yeah.
It's gonna go for them.
Okay, it's distracted by the light. You just
Oh, wait.
gotta get out of there, man. Oh,
Yeah, it's distracted. It's gonna eat the light.
Okay.
it's distracted.
The way that my shoulders are genuinely climbing up into my ears, like, you guys have achieved tone in, like, a really important way. I know that we talked about it as, like, a semi-difficult, or a semi-horror vibe, right? That was kind of where we were exploring.
Yeah.
I feel like we hit it. All right. Let's go exploring again. Yeah, we might need to mute our audio from the game. Is
That's
there
okay.
particular game design that we do want to show, or audio design we do want to show off?
You pretty much got it.
We got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Just for everyone's ears, and it's not because I'm scared. I just want to I want to make that abundantly
Yeah.
clear. It's not because I'm nervous or intimidated in any way. It's for different reasons.
Now, try a little pro gamer tip. Try
Hit me.
going right.
Try going right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there may be other things for you to check out. And more
Yeah.
dangerous
Okay, so
things, as you can see.
purple's is trap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Purple's is trap. That looks trappy.
But some of it might not be on the same layer as you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Some depth.
Oh,
Friends.
oh! Oh, man.
What's up?
Oh, it's just it's really unreal to see this like there and you playing it, and like our audience is going to be able to play it too. It's like, you guys,
Yeah.
we made a game.
We did it.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Shout out to Travail for the Nations, who says this is truly amazing.
Aw,
And thank you for all of the positive feedback from people in chat as well.
Now,
Okay,
I
I
don't
guess I
know
can
if you've
boost
caught
out.
on to this, but because the traps are made of the Tenebrous, it seems like it has a natural idea of where each trap is when someone steps in it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Little hive
Yep.
mind.
You may wanna start hightailing it.
Yeah,
they
it's
coming from?
it's wise that you saved some of your boost.
I learned last time. Joe says, where's this game hosted? It's actually hosted on play.unity.com.
Yep.
And when we wrap up here, we will be
Share.
putting a link for it in the chat, so you guys can go and check it out yourselves as well. Again,
Oh.
gang, this is a week of work. I saw lights and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's making me stressed.
The nice thing is that it hates the orbs more than it hates you. So
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. It reallocated its hateful ways.
So,
Okay, you got another tip
Yeah.
for me, Joy, directionally?
still going right.
Okay.
It seems like
just keep
the
going.
more like,
I would say try coming closer to the camera.
oh yeah, that's a
Oh,
good
okay.
tip too. Yeah,
Hold on,
yeah.
let me get around
You
this
really got to
space
work
train.
that plane.
Okay.
You got to work the X and the Z. The Y is
Okay.
not such a big deal, but yeah.
I'm always out here working X and Z. It's actually my life's motto. I kind of like, I mean, it's not the reason, I mean, I don't know the reason, but it might not be the reason you told me to come closer to the camera, but just seeing like the depth of the field, of the space,
It's part of the reason.
it's very cool to see all the layers.
And I gotta say too, like James is the one who implemented the camera. And so I was doing a lot of the programming in my own test scene. The camera was not implemented. So I went into main to just like lock some stuff in. And the first time the camera moved, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, you guys.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
when it really felt like a game.
This is
Yeah,
great.
well, I still think like for me, the moment that the music happened was when I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah.
But like the camera movement, I think is when I realized we had something special going. And like, yeah.
Oh, they hang out. I didn't even
Yeah.
notice. Do they take their masks off? This guy's holding
Yeah,
do.
yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't get the camera zoom in, but we'll show you guys the meshes like later on in the
Cool.
breakdown because there's individual different looks.
Yeah, and then if you remember our diversifier,
No.
No.
It's
Nope.
okay.
Can't touch
Oh,
me
no.
in here.
You can't get you in there.
I hope.
You shouldn't.
Also,
get
but
you in
he's
there.
definitely locked onto you. So
Yeah, you should shoot
I
him.
might
go over there.
try and. Oh, there you
It's
go.
like throwing
Okay,
a ball to a dog. Ah!
he's running away.
Run.
Hoof
Just
it.
sneak on by.
Think of the red cone as like his field of view.
Yeah.
Also, is this
Oh, he's just-
all of the smoke?
That's him. Yeah, that's
Is he
the Tenebrous.
following, or is he just like a serpent?
So wherever you see his red cone is where he's headed.
That's his. That's like the head of the serpent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Like
think
with
he is
you.
long and unknowable.
I think right
He is
now he's
universal.
heading like towards the right side of the map.
Oh, so
I
we're
would
both
hold
going in the
on to
same
that
direction.
last light bubble, by the way.
I'm,
Yeah.
Just in case.
I am.
You
I'm
may
like-
need to distract him.
Okay, I see some lights in the distance. I see an orange box.
Oh,
What am I stuck in?
Oh.
Oh no! I wandered into the purple. I was looking into the distance.
Look, there's your friend though. Oh my god. Okay.
I will say
So
friend.
tense.
I'll say friend. Zeta tester calling out that the Tenebrous was spawn camping,
Yes.
It was,
waiting for me
yeah.
to leave.
Nice.
All right, I saved enough boost, I think, to basically just blast out of here, at least to get a head start. Oh no! It's too far. I've gone too far.
You gotta go.
Yeah, you
I'm not
gotta
going
go.
back
No,
for
I
it.
gotta go.
My plan was to just blast it in front of me and then just keep picking it up and keep going. Am I stuck on something?
No,
Nope.
no, you're
You're
good.
moving. You're good.
Okay. Okay.
You
I'm
might
counting.
But
beat
yes,
it.
there are objects that will
Yeah,
will keep you
you
stuck.
can get caught on stuff.
Yeah.
you might
I mean,
beat
I
it.
wouldn't because I'm a great gamer.
Oh,
Just
I'm a
keep
great
going.
gamer.
Oh,
Ah!
Keep going. Run. Oh,
I don't have any boost. I don't have any lights.
Oh no. Keep
Is he fat? He's faster than me, right?
like a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a
Just type it
Oh,
zigzag.
he's right on my butt. Oh!
Well,
That's exciting, though.
that's the game, man. Like there's a bunch of astronauts for you to get, but that's it. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to
the
conserve
experience.
your resources.
that's really cool.
Oh, he
Is
pushed you
there-
all the way back. How nice of him.
Thank you. A little delivery service. Is there specific elements that we want to show off, or are we good to kind of just chat more about it?
Yes, I think. Well, I don't know actually.
You can
so
send
I
me
was
wherever
gonna
you want to send me.
I was going to say it might be cool to see like what's at the end of the level, but
James,
it could also
you're
be
the
a
expert at playing this game, not him.
no. But I
like,
mean, just like if he just
Physically,
boosted all
like,
the
just
way,
go all the way to the right.
But then I don't know if like if players want to experience this.
Oh yeah,
this
that's a good
themselves.
Oh,
point.
yeah.
We might want to leave something for our users to discover.
You guys want to? I mean, that's a good point. I'm curious, so I'll do it on my own time. But
Yeah.
You guys want to kind of chat about the process now?
Yeah.
This was incredible. This was incredible. So
Yay,
There he is. in
We
the
did it.
background.
you guys did incredible work. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat with the positive feedback. Phil says this looks great. Big P Turn saying this is playing great. Legit work from Glass Vault Studios. Thank you guys all for the positive messages here. Joe is asking, is there any specific Unity packages or tools that you use that you wanted to call out? And I know that we'll get a little bit into some of the specifics. We're even going to open up some of those systems. But is there anything right off the hop here that is like number one, the best, the most useful tool or the most used, or anything that stands out as a highlight for you guys?
I think James, you made use of some pretty good built-in tools because you used Cinemachine for the camera, right?
Yep.
And
And
then
used
you
Cinemachine for the
used-
camera. I used Pro Builder for the traps, the purple traps. What else?
And Sarah used nav meshes.
I did. I used AI navigation.
Very nice.
I used C#, the best tool.
Wow.
The nice.
I mean, it really is the best tool. Without it, we wouldn't. have a game.
Without it, there'd be no game.
Mhm,
Literally.
The Bull's calling out that the voxel editor was cool, so you use that
Yes,
tool as
Magic of
well.
Voxel is an amazing open source, free, available for anybody to use.
I want to read some more of these comments because you guys are being so kind, and it's exactly what we would like to see here as efforts of trying to bring the community together. Luna saying, awesome work. You guys are amazing. Davina says it's looking good. Felix says, love the light orbs, giving me crazy flashbacks to Dark Bramble in the Outer Wilds. Yes.
Oh.
Very good. Also really intense. Freaks me out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your kind words. Again, if you guys are watching live, we're paying attention. We're reading your comments, even if we're not responding to every one of them. So thank you so much for being here. I want to talk to the team a little bit about the challenges here. Of course, in a condensed space and time, with a relatively strict allocation of where you guys are spending that time. What do you feel was the biggest challenge that you all encountered?
Can I just say, if you would have asked this question maybe 24 hours ago, I would say no, none at all.
Whoa.
I think we faced most of our challenges last night, which for Joy and I specifically, when we were working on it, the Unity project just kind of started to break like unexpectedly, and things started to go missing. And like literally, like Sarah gave us the Tenebrous, the enemy and everything, and then I don't know, maybe like an hour later, it just disappeared from our Unity project, and it was just gone. And
I
Joy
peaced
had to
out
do
and went to bed, and I woke up to like a wall of messages.
Joy had to do some magic to bring it back. I don't know what you did, Joy, but thank you.
So, like, for context, like basically what happened is, I actually just answered this on the YouTube chat. We're using GitHub for version control, and somehow at some point, as I think a lot of Unity developers will have experience with, we had a merge conflict on the main scene. Like it all came down to like scene problems, because like scenes are like the worst thing to try and manage in version control. And I noticed that the Tenebrous had gone missing, and I'm like, oh. And then I noticed that there was a scene merge conflict. I'm like, don't worry, guys. I'll fix this by editing the text file, because I did that on a prefab and I felt very strong. And I'm like, I could do this with a scene. It won't be a problem. It was a problem.
It was indeed a problem.
And so, like, eventually in my panic, I'm like, wait a minute. Version control is like a save system. I'll go back to a previous save. And then like in my head, I thought, oh, I'm going to lose so much work because my last commit was 40 minutes prior, but time had like expanded to the point where I didn't realize that those 40 minutes was me like being afraid of what was happening. And so I ended up not losing anything. But yeah, so basically I went to an earlier commit and everything was fine. But it was really tense, and I was sending James through such an emotional roller coaster.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Everything's broken. JK, everything's fine. Oh no, it's not. It's like,
and this whole
and I got to the point where I'm
honk me.
Yeah, and I was
background.
like, get me off of this roller coaster, because you're telling me things are broken, but then they're fine, and then they're broken again, and then they're fine.
Yep.
Like, please
Woke
stop.
up in the morning. What's up, gamers? What happened?
Like, I think that happened like twice, and it was really tense because everything was going so well.
Yeah,
And,
so
I
like I
really-
said, if you would have asked this question 24 hours ago, literally all of the development beforehand went so smooth. Like we had no problems. Systems were being created so quickly, and it was just an amazing experience. And I even said, "Wow, this is going so smooth." And maybe I jinxed it by saying
Yeah,
that.
that's it. You said it. You
Yeah.
That was the
acknowledged it.
moment. That was the
Yeah.
turning point.
I guess so.
I
Understood.
will say though, like, aside from like those few tense moments, like this did go so smooth. And the thing that blows me away is that the game built first time onto WebGL, and
Yeah.
I had zero expectations for that, because like in the editor, we have a little bit of lag when the first scene loads. That's why I did the async load, the loading screen, because I'm like, oh, this is going to take a while on web. It's faster on web than it is in the engine. Like
It
Interesting.
is.
like I think I've definitely shared stories of like issues in the past with game jams and publishing to WebGL and just being like, oh, it's gonna break, but it didn't. And I don't know if it's because we were using Unity 6 and like web is really a focus, but like I cannot get over the fact that it just worked, and actually building for the first time ever was not a problem at all. Like it was like
It just
barely
works.
a second thought. It just
works.
works.
It just works.
It
Yeah.
just works.
I mean, not to be propaganda, but Unity 6 is one of the biggest focuses that I heard from the moment that I joined the company is stability and most reliable version yet. So it's great to hear that was at least the experience in this specific situation. And since it just works, it makes it super easy to just put on Unity Play. which means it's super easy for me to press enter and drop the link in chat
Yeah.
for everyone else to play. If
Play
you guys
it.
would like to go and check it out,
the
I'm going
game.
to put this link in here, and you guys can go and check it out for yourselves, which is fantastic. And while we do that, let's take a step back here. James, you wrote even more narrative than we initially had, and I want to make sure that that gets the light of day. Your design doc was incredible. We talked about it extensively last week, but you went a step further and wrote out a full narrative. Do you want to take a moment and do a dramatic reading?
Dramatic reading. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it.
All right.
Woo.
Yeah. All right. So part of this may seem familiar with the start of the game, but yeah, I just felt inclined to give the game some lore, to have it make sense as to like, why are you here? So yeah, here we go. Starts out with a quote from the player.
Ooh.
I don't know how long I've been here. I can't remember why I came. I don't know why I need to, but I have to go out there. I have to extend the light. Long ago, Zoldera, the name of our planet, used to be covered in a beautiful white and blue aura. Actually, that should say golden, sorry. A golden aura that became the light source for our solar system. For millions of years, it shone so bright that the light pierced the darkness of space and even reached the deepest and darkest corners of the universe, where no one dared to explore. However, over time, the brightness of this light waned without any explanation. Today, the only light that remains surrounds an astronaut known as the player. The player mysteriously finds himself in the middle of space with no recollection of how he arrived or how long he's been there. The only thing that appears to be protecting him from the vacuum of space is a bubble dome made of golden light. However, his safety won't last, as the light appears to be fading, and his only option is to explore the cosmic void in search of answers. As the player begins his exploration, he quickly learns that he is not alone. He encounters an astronaut floating in space that appears to be on the brink of death and in need of help. However, something worse also lingers about in the darkness. A black, formless creature called the Tenebrous appears to be searching for something. As the player attempts to carry the astronaut back to the light, the Tenebrous notices and begins to give chase, forcing the player to expend the fuel within his jetpack in order to escape this monstrosity. As the player reaches the dome of light, he realizes the Tenebrous doesn't follow. It appears that the only place that is safe from it is within the light. There are others, states the astronaut. Save us. All of us. The player helps the astronaut onto the platform they originally found themselves on and notices that their presence on the machine affects the surrounding light, expanding it further, illuminating areas of space that were once dark to the player. With this added visibility, the player decides to venture back out with hope that they'll find the others that the astronaut mentioned. This time, he is more prepared thanks to the fuel in his jetpack refilling and a specialized wristband gained from the astronaut that emits bubbles of light. The creature devours light, warned the astronaut. Use this if it comes after you again. Perhaps this is the reason why the light has faded from Zoldera. The player ventures out multiple times, saving other astronauts, all while narrowly escaping being devoured by the Tenebrous. With the combination of his jetpack and wristband, he is able to evade the monster each time. With each rescue, the player begins to notice something odd about each astronaut. They all look alike. However, that isn't the oddest thing about them. They all appear to be versions of the player. Some are older, others are younger, but it's very clear that they are all him. Realizing this, the player is more determined than ever to save the remaining astronauts and hope for answers. Each astronaut that is saved stands onto the platform within the light dome, which continues to help expand the light further and further. After the player rescues all 5 astronauts, he joins them on the platform. Their unification on the machine causes it to power up completely, and a blinding white light is released, flashing across all of space and eliminating the Tenebrous as well as any remnants of it. Each of the astronauts begin to get pulled into one another until the player is the only person left standing on the platform. He's not sure how to make sense of what is happening, but by the end of it, he's left standing in the middle of the reconstructed space station, looking out at the floating planet behind him. It appears to be teeming with life and is surrounded by an aura that is shining brighter than ever. The light of Zoldera has been restored.
Woo! dramatic telling, absolutely awesome, very cool, like very engaging, very exciting. And we had who was it in chat here? Joe Grieve saying, James, please make this an audiobook that you read out loud. So that was very, very cool. Awesome to have, like, I think the story be told through passive storytelling. Like everything that you read, sure, I was here for all of the planning, but I think all of the elements of that were present in the actual gameplay itself. And in the brief, 5-10 minutes that I spent playing it, all of those elements were there, and it's cool to kind of just round it out a little bit, but also to see that you guys kind of nailed taking that narrative and translating it over. So congratulations, you guys. That was super cool.
Thank you.
Of course. I think we mentioned kind of our pre-production process. We talked about our game design doc. There were some other pre-production tools that we can kind of show off here. You guys mentioned a Trello board that you guys used as kind of like your assignments, I'll just hand it over to you. You can tell me how you use this as part of your production pipeline. And then after that, we can look at some of the systems as well that you guys created. So we'll go under the hood, creating our enemies, the playable character, and maybe some of the level design. If you guys are watching here live with us on Twitch or YouTube, feel free to drop any questions for the team and keep those comments coming. Again, these are meant to be conversations. We're creating community spaces for you all to come in and hang out with us and bring your cats who meow in the background of the stream. So
he's trying to get my oatmeal. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. But we can hand things back over to James here to kind of show us some of the Trello board tooling that you guys were using.
Yeah. So here's our Trello board. We figured, or actually how this came about was basically taking the elements of the game design document that you all saw if you were here last week, and basically converting everything that was listed out into that game design document as a task for either one of us. And so using that, I decided to then create organize this a bit between programming task, art task, UI task, game design, level design, sound design, prototyping, and then final build tasks. And of all of those tasks you see here on the right under done, which it just looks amazing having all of this done. These are all the tasks that we came up with. And so, we have they're all in the to-do section. And then, you can click into it, and then there's a description of like what exactly we want the task, or, what it is that you should be doing. So for like this enemy controller, we obviously want the movement, and then what's described is like how the Tenebrous moves. What are the systems that you need to think about, and how does it attack? And so this gives context for the person owning the task to understand, okay, I need to build a system around these requirements. And so, we definitely use that. And then, as it was in progress, very easily drag and drop these to show us like where the progress is on this. And then obviously it's over to done. And we just kind of use this to keep track of what we're all working on. You can all like assign who works on what too. And so you just click change members, and click on the name, and it's just an easy way for us to kind of like quickly look at what needs to be done in the game that hasn't been done. And with my particular skill sets, like what can I handle? And I'll just grab a task and then, start working on it. And I feel like it was a fairly effective way of just like divvying up tasks and making it a bit more organized. And and really, we have just these last two tasks. I kind of left this in progress. I don't know. All assets function as intended. I mean, do they? Maybe.
Good enough.
Features,
good enough. So I guess we can go ahead and drag that over. But the last task here is showcase game on stream.
Oh,
we just did.
Drag that baby over.
Literally finished our final task.
Look at that done scroll.
We did it.
Yeah, look at all of this.
That's really impressive, you guys. And awesome. I feel like this maybe is the gamer in my brain, and probably for yourselves as well. But to just be able to see a clear to-do list and be able to scroll through everything that's already been done, it just feels so satisfying.
We S-ranked it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, we did. We did.
Yes,
S-rank indeed.
But that's our process.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, and again, so now we've kind of shown off the game design docs. We've shown off kind of that production part of the production pipeline. We might take a moment to show off some of the level design, because I know that was also a kind of iterative step-by-step process, which is very cool. But let's take a second here and kind of transition into opening up the project a little bit. I know so much of what we've discussed with our community and what they come to the streams for is not just the community connection, but they want to learn things. They want to be able to see how things are done, use it to inspire their own work and those types of things. So part of my personal efforts in creating these streams is to make sure that no matter what we're doing, there is an opportunity for people to learn, whether it's a creator spotlight where you guys are going to see how some of the systems were done by people who have made and released their games, or if it's full dedicated tutorials or something like this where we have an opportunity. So let's take a moment here, and I think get started with our enemies. And Sarah, I believe that was your domain, so we can kind of pass the mic to you and allow you to do that. And while Sarah's loading that up, we kind of just touched on what you guys want to see and me trying to put in all of those efforts to do so. I've dumped a link in the chat for both Twitch and YouTube. That is our live stream survey. So if you want to go and check that out, it's 4 quick questions. It'll take you 3 minutes. It's about what type of content you want to see. And we're trying to bring you more consistent and more tangible, relatable, enjoyable content. So please do me a favor and help shape this community space for us. Sarah,
can I just say something real quick,
James.
just because I saw a comment and I just want to put it out there. The story that I just read was definitely not written by AI. I wrote it myself. So yeah.
We
Every
can't hear
word.
I put
no,
a positive
literally,
spin on it.
yes.
And I was like, oh, so what a compliment to James then, that like all of this hard work seems like it was done by a computer. And I was grasping at straws, but yes, James worked very hard on all of this.
Yeah.
The whole team did.
Yes.
Sarah, tell
Ready to
us
go.
about smoke monsters.
Yes. Sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background. They're very mad at the mailman.
I get that. Natural enemies.
Rightfully.
So let me come over here to show the Tenebrous. Doesn't it look so threatening? Well, the real threat is in the particle effect that Joy created, which why can't I see it?
It's so some of you may be familiar with this issue with particle effects in Unity, but basically what's going on, because the particle effect itself is semi-transparent and the nav mesh below it is also semi-transparent, Unity's like, what happens? So it's visible in the game itself. And then
Yeah, I'll just show it in the game. Hold on. Let me, you know what I can do? I can just right click on the main camera, align with view real quick. Okay, that didn't work.
You got to do the Cinema Machine
player.
camera.
Yeah, okay. You know what I can do instead? If we
go to
come,
the prefab.
that's
Don't
true.
click the prefab.
That's
Well, if you go to the
enemy
you see camera
prefab.
stuff in your hierarchy.
Here we go. Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
And then it's doing the loady load.
Yeah. Give it a second.
I mean, I like the cyan.
Hey, there we
There
go.
we go. Very cool.
Yes. So essentially, the actual enemy is just this little cylinder over here that I basically used for the nav mesh. And then we have these particle effects to kind of simulate this like long, smoky entity. And then, so this red cone over here is actually just it was meant to be just like a debug thing for me to kind of work on its field of view for when it sees the player in the lights. But we decided, hey, just keep it in. Why not? So essentially the way this thing works is it uses what we call a finite state machine. And shout out to Zane Everett, one of our technical trainers at Pro Training. He helped me figure out how to do this code. But essentially, I have a bunch of states. I have chase state, I have chase light state, wander state. I have all these states. And basically, I have one big class that takes all of these states, takes in what condition switches from state to state, and it just switches the states based on conditions. So I believe if I go, this is not, where's the script? No, not this one. This one. Yes. Essentially, I have each state has a transition, and when you hit the condition for the transition, it goes to the next state. That's really what a finite state machine is. And so I figured this was the best way to handle an enemy that has multiple states, chasing, wandering around, attacking the player, eating lights, all these things. If you have questions about finite state machines, we actually have a course coming soon on finite state machines. So you can keep an eye out for that. But that's essentially the enemy. It wanders around a set list of waypoints. Originally, it was going to be random, but I kept running into weird issues, so I said, nope, we're not doing that. It sees the player, chases after him, and the only way the player can escape the chase state is if the Tenebrous sees a light. So if it sees the light, it'll get distracted, it'll beeline towards it, eat it up, and then after that, it'll go back to wandering around. Unless the player either hits a trap, in which case it will immediately just see the player, no matter where it is, or unless the player wanders into its field of view, in which case it's locked on, and you better hope it doesn't get you.
Because it's actually genuinely terrifying. And again, like, the audio design does a lot of it, but just the chase state and like the vastness of space. You guys did a great job. I feel like we mentioned like, we put horror elements and like kind of just in passing, and it was like, that felt like a nice to have at the moment, but whatever you guys elected was tonally very, very sound. It was very effective. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely the empty vastness of the map really sells it. I mean, I'm not going to show too much, but you have all this open space over here that you can explore, and it's so dark that you can't really see a lot of it. All you can really see is your little bubble platform over here with the little guy in it.
With the little guy. Did we ever name the astronaut?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
He's the player.
The player. Oh yeah, that's right.
His name.
It's in the lore.
First name, the last name player.
I'm in it. I'm with you.
So I will say, because you were talking about the horror elements, there's one element in the game you just played that was there, but wasn't working exactly as intended. It actually works as intended in the engine, but for some reason for web, it just wasn't. You might have heard the heartbeat sound, right? That's actually the audio. It's attached to the Tenebrous. So the further away it is, the lighter, less of the heartbeat that you hear, but the closer it gets to you, the louder it gets. And so it's supposed to kind of like it's supposed to be an audio warning of like the Tenebrous is getting closer and closer to you, and the heartbeats are getting louder and louder to help add to the tension.
Yeah.
But for some reason in the web, it just like was just one level the entire time, no matter how far away the Tenebrous was.
It was definitely something that chat called out pretty much immediately, that the stress levels are coming up with the heartbeat being present at all. So
yeah, it's supposed to give you an indicator of where the Tenebrous is. Probably has something to do with like audio source stuff. But yeah, that is Tenebrous.
We kind of touched on it a little bit, and I know you guys mentioned it during the meeting yesterday, and I said we're going to talk about that on stream, but the concept of things kind of being held together with duct tape was the paraphrasing that I'm going to use. But it is interesting to note, like, depending on time allotment and time availability, sometimes you can't do things the most thorough or the most correct way or the way that you want to. How do you find you guys manage your time during a game jam as opposed to something that we gave you multiple days to resolve?
Well, I think the player is a really great example of that. And ultimately what it comes down to is making the choice about, do you want to do things the right way or do you want to get something out the door? With our specific production, because we kept running into issues in the early part.
The early days of last Thursday.
Yeah, the early days of Thursday.
So long ago.
We kept getting merge conflicts on the main scene because we were working on them. And so eventually I'm like, okay, James really needs the main scene. I'm going to work in my own test scene. So I'm going to have everything I do on prefabs. So I could just update the prefabs and it's going to automatically propagate into the main scene for James. What that ended up causing is me not being able to add components like I normally do. Like normally I would have a dedicated game object in the scene as a scene manager, but I didn't want to do that. So I put all of the things that I would put normally on a scene manager onto the player itself. So we ended up with way more components on the player than typically so. Also, okay, guys, I'm gonna be real honest, because we're not sharing the code, and so you don't have to see my sin, but I did not cache variables as much as they should have.
I feel your deep shame. You've hung your head here. But
as a non-programmer, you're safe with me because I have no idea what you just said.
Do you want to show it? I could find a script where you don't do it.
No. do not load that script. I used find with find by tag way too much. So like really let's not. So like for those of you that aren't super familiar with like the concept of like caching stuff, the idea is that you don't want your script to work extra hard to be constantly finding things throughout the game. In an ideal scenario, you find all of your components at the start. In an idealer scenario, you actually like have them already like added in, so no search is necessary. But it's pretty standard to be like on a wake, find all these components. If you have to do it that way.
I have it up right now if we want to show what we mean.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah.
So we have enemy. We have a variable declared in the class, and then I basically just cache it right here.
Yeah. So that's the ideal. I like in the last 48 hours went turbo mode on scripting. I'm like, we're just grabbing this and going. And the thing is though, and this kind of goes back to the duct tape, the game still plays. And because it still plays, I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm being real loosey-goosey with getting variables. But like, and that's a really great comparison between like proper game development and game jam game development, where it's like, hey, if this runs, then you're winning. Like I would never do what I've done in like a real game scenario. But like actually, Sarah, since you have everything open, would you mind sharing the main screen and selecting the player?
Yes.
Are we going to dive into some of the player info now?
Yeah, if you don't mind, or
yeah.
Do we want
right
as
here.
we kind of make that transition over, which we've already done. So before we dive in here, it is an interesting concept. It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting conversation about if you have a time crunch, how you would approach things differently. So it is a concept that we're toying around with for a piece of live stream content in future, that we have one system that needs to be built. How would you do it if you only had 15 minutes? How would you do it if you had an hour? How would you do it if you had a day? And kind of coming back to the stream and showing off these different approaches and why we took them. So again, interesting to see things like how your time crunch, and you know, the industry is infamous for it, how it might impact the quality of gameplay in the end as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, here's our player. I just want to like show you a couple things. So first and foremost, Sarah, can you select the top level player?
Yes.
And just give it a scroll down.
Yes.
So look at all those individual
scripts.
So normally I wouldn't do this much. There's a lot of those on there that would be like game manager scripts, but also because I wanted this to be highly configurable as well for James, I also isolated these things into logical like blocks. Like if you go down to the movement settings, I exposed like so many variables to make sure that James had the ability to like really fine tune it the way that he wanted it. But you'll also notice that there are things in there like audio sources for the boost and like move actions. Those things I actually would have put on like a game manager that could just be like populated and then referenced in a normal situation. So there's like a real chaotic mix of things in there. So that's like kind of how I approach like just adding scripts nonstop. I also want to flag how I set up the animation system, because somebody in the last stream was wondering like, how do you set things up with animation for Magic of Voxel? Because rather than having like animation where like you're using keyframes to move a mesh, with Magic of Voxel, with voxel-based animation, you're actually basically doing stop motion where you're switching out full models. So you could see in the kind of hierarchy of the player, we have a lot of things that are hidden.
Oh.
All of those groups are the different models for the different player animations.
Yeah.
So under
Oh,
boost,
interesting.
we have the different boost meshes. So boost 0 is
Yeah,
on. Can you turn on boost 1 and 2?
Boost 1 and boost 2. Here,
Yeah.
let me
Can I
like
just say we should have had
Yeah.
this as the pickup animation?
Here, let
So
me,
like the other astronaut is just standing on your head as you're
Oh.
boosting them to safety.
There you go. And then I'll disable the what is this guy? Float collection? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, there is animation on here, but the animation is literally just turning these on and off.
Interesting.
And that's it. So it's basically like sprite animation, but in 3D.
So if I were to
and
do this
is-
like super quickly,
Yeah.
like if I were to like here, so like I assume it goes in order of like 0, 1, 2.
Yep.
Oh yeah, look at, you can
Yep.
see
Yeah.
the
So there you
outline
go.
of
You
it
get the same
moving.
little.
This is
yeah.
so cool. So
Arms
And
this
this
is
is
down.
stop motion
Yes.
for 3D voxel animation. That's
Yeah.
rad.
Thank you. Yeah. Like I'm sure it exists somewhere out there. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this, but this
You didn't
is
just create
something-
this.
I'm sure I didn't. But this is like an approach to voxel animation that I experimented a lot with because side mission, like when I like doing indie development outside, I actually have a game that's currently on hold, but like is completely voxel based and all of the characters are fully animated. And I like the Minecraft animations that you see online where like the arms and stuff bend. I hate that because cubes don't bend. And so I had to find a way to like animate so the cubes maintain their integrity. And so I needed to figure out how to do a stop motion like solution. Now, later on, I actually did figure out how to do a voxel rig, which is crazy, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Anyway, point of the matter is that this is how you set up the animations. So that's what all those grouping things are. And then up at the top, I just wanted to highlight the rotator is just a object that is used purely for allowing the player to rotate around when it's following the mouse. And it's just a child object underneath the root player because you don't want to add rotations onto the root of anything. You want that player top level to just remain kind of perfect the way it is. So you notice that all the transforms are fully zeroed out. That's kind of best practice. And then we have a like base mesh that actually only appears in the scene view. That's the boost collection or float collection. That's just so you see the player. Everything gets turned off and on automatically with the animator when the game starts. And then the last piece is the shoot locator, which is where the orbs are instantiated from.
Here it is.
And then at the bottom, we have the place where the astronaut that you collect is held. So I just figured out where the right
cool.
position was for that. The light, if you run out of light, your little guy will start blinking as well to indicate that you're out of light. And then, of course, the jetpack particles. So that's the player. There's a lot of stuff. Look at him. Little go toot, toot, toot. Boop, 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 boop. The particle that Sarah made was perfect. When I implemented it last night, I started giggling uncontrollably. And then the sound that James made for it, put it all together, and it was perfection.
Yeah, it worked really well. There's a question from Cheesy Meatball about the animation. Does this have any impact on performance compared to normal animation?
So it's crazy. The answer is no. So this was something that was a really major concern for me when I was working on my entirely voxel-based game, because I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my god, I'm switching out meshes. But the thing is that this one is a little bit more so. But with my my own characters, we're talking about meshes that are sub 1,000 basis. Great, thank you. Oh my god. The copy has worked its way through. So we're talking about very low poly count characters here. And that's actually answering another question that appeared on the YouTube chat. So because we're talking about such small meshes, the swap out is really not a big deal at all. And it's funny that you mentioned it too, because like I said, this was a real fear for me because I am thinking in terms of like real characters. And remember that in the modern era, in today, characters can reach like 20, 30, 50,000, polygons, and Unity's like, so we're not even talking about the same universe for stuff like this. Now, if you tried to do like a really intense, super detailed, like millions of polygon voxel, probably not going to work the same way. But the thing is that the art style of voxels typically applies it to something that's like naturally lower poly, and so you have a lot more freedom. But yeah, no, I at one point measured the impact and it was like nothing. So play with this. I highly recommend it. Just don't go crazy on your voxels and you'll be fine.
I still think that a build alongside with
Yes.
us, we're going to do a voxel creation is going to be so cool. I really want to check that out. It's definitely in the pipeline. We had so many good names for it, Voxel Ross and all of that good stuff. The joy of painting, the joy of voxeling, which I think is going to be so fun.
Really quick, I do want to answer a rigid body question over on the YouTube chat from Valbus. Why has rb.velocity been removed? So like you mentioned, why do we have to use linear velocity or angular velocity? Effectively, what this is just aligning things between 2D and 3D rigid bodies, because in script calls for rigid body 2D, you already had to do linear velocity. So this is kind of just like making the calls coherent. That's my understanding, if I remember what I read in the documentation, because that did throw me too, because I, obviously work with rigid bodies a lot for stuff like this. And I kept getting the warning like, hey, this isn't valid anymore. I'm like, what do you mean that's not valid anymore? I just wrote this. Like, what do you mean? And it's like, it's just linear. So it's the exact same thing. Like rigid body velocity, the way that you're thinking about it is the same as linear velocity. It's just a level of specificity.
Great. Thank you for asking that question. It's XYZ had the same question. So Joy, thank you for picking it out and for providing a little context around it as well. We've got about maybe 15 minutes left in the stream here. And I know that we wanted to take a second to look through the level design. James, are you eager to give it a shot to show it off a little bit?
No.
Okay. If you don't
So
want
yes,
to,
sorry,
okay.
not a no. I don't have Unity open right now,
Gotcha.
but
I
do
can share
have
it if you want.
Oh yeah, if you want to. But actually, before you do, I was gonna say I want to start off with the process. So the way I approach level design, and I think most level designers should approach it, is by like sketching it out first. And making sure that you have an idea of what it is, what you want your level layout to look like. And so that's how I started. And I'm going to share. Sorry, probably should have had this prepared.
Oh, you're
just going to share this window. Cool. So yeah. So I just I went into Photoshop and sketched out like what it is I want this level to look like. And as you can see, it's I think we kind of hit exactly what we were looking for. But by doing this, it allowed me to then just like easily get into the editor and just start placing assets and doing all of that. And so yeah, did that. There's a couple of other drawings too that showcases a feature that we weren't able to add, but am I still sharing?
Yeah, we'll just swap back and forth.
Okay. Hoping that it then, can you see the light zones or no?
No, I think you may have shared just the specific tab or window, and therefore it might not show us the
Let
next
me
one.
do this again.
Yeah, you're all good. And kind of while you bring that up, it was a question that Felix on YouTube had asked earlier. And James, I know you talked about it a little bit, but how did you handle scope? Were there any features that we wanted that did not make the cut? Or sorry, we did have to cut because of the time limit. So you're about to kind of showcase one of the things that we wanted to put in there.
Exactly. So as you can see, there are these light zones that one of the original ideas was to make it so that like when you saved an astronaut, the light bubble expanded and the light surrounding it helped unveil a lot of the darkness. And so it just allowed, I think it was a could have been a great way to like help progress the player, and showing them like, okay, I've completed this area because I can fully see everything here, and then the next area unlocks, and then you go and rescue the next astronaut, and it keeps happening until you get down to the end. And so that was one mechanic. Unfortunately, due to scope, we just couldn't implement properly. I think the lighting was the one thing that we wanted to try and get right. And it just proved to be a little bit more difficult than we thought at first. And so instead of kind of handling these light zones, we just decided just to make it all kind of just dark and spooky, and then really leveraging the light balls to help light the way, which I think was a great pivot on our end. And then just the last thing that I have here is kind of like the end screen. And so I kind of just took that just to have an idea of like what I want the end screen to look like. And you know, the sketch of this or whatever is basic. It's not like I think the actual version of it is enhanced, but it just allowed me to kind of like envision, okay, when the player beats the game, what do I want them to then see? And so it was just a great kind of like starting area. And then when I got into the editor, I then started thinking about like, okay, how can I enhance this? How can I make it just a bit better than the sketches? And so that's how I started out this entire process, was just being in Photoshop and just drawing and figuring that out. And then, yeah, Sarah, if you want to showcase the level.
Yes, I can. Oh, I think your camera went off.
Oh.
Welcome back.
We're back.
I'm back. Press the wrong button.
So we have like a nice overview of kind of what our whole thing looks like. We have like, you can kind of see it's actually pretty close to what you were imagining for
real
like,
close. It's like, to be
like, get a little
shocking how like the vision was maintained from James's sketch to the level.
Yeah, you know, you have like Earth planet over here with like the platform.
Not Earth, it's Soldera.
Oh, Soldera.
Soldera,
How dare you?
I am running off of fumes.
yeah.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
we have all the little like.
Yeah, and the
areas.
one thing that, so bringing it into the engine, which was different from the sketch, is obviously you can see the depth. Like, so I really wanted to showcase the depth of space and have things above you, have things below you, just so that it doesn't feel like a side-scrolling 2D game, even though it kind of is. But like showcasing that depth, I think, was super important.
Yeah, with all the things floating around, it looks super cool.
Yeah. And again, playing it, like, that's what I clocked immediately, was like the feeling of depth, both kind of like distance forward away from the camera, but then the verticality of it as well.
2.75D.
I mean, it works. It describes the
Really
style.
does.
Yeah, and so one level design hack. As you can see, there are a lot of asteroids and rocks, and would you be surprised if I told you there were only 5 variations of rocks to work from?
Whoa.
And so a level design hack is basically taking what you have and just like manipulating it in engine to make it look different, rotating it in a different way, squashing it, stretching it so that it just looks different. But yeah, Joy made 5 different rocks, and I made do with all 5 of those rocks and trying to make them all as unique as possible.
Yeah, there's only
you
5.
Don't notice,
prepared.
like, that's the thing. Like, it's crazy. And also the use of scale that James did too. Like when you're playing, there are like some really big asteroids. Like, you don't think, oh, that's the exact same mesh as this other tiny asteroid over here.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I guess, would you guys say it's particularly effective when you have a locked off viewpoint where like you're only viewing it from one side, right? For the most part. Obviously, as you get closer, the camera wraps around a little bit, but basically if everything's facing you this way, you have that opportunity to just kind of rotate and get a pretty different feel from each one.
Yeah. So like game design itself is really, or game development, I should say, is a lot of it smoke and mirrors. And so I'm sure if we had it so that the camera like pivoted around, you could probably start to recognize certain shapes or whatever, that we're reusing the same assets. But the fact that the camera was locked, it allowed us to kind of like make sure that everything was angled so that it looked more unique.
Yeah.
I think super effective. Very cool. Is there anything else we want to touch on kind of the level design here?
Oh, yeah.
No, I think we hit it all. Yeah.
Awesome.
Can
Thank
I
you.
make
I just want to say thank you to Joy for all of the amazing assets. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's awesome.
like, can I make one tiny little request because we weren't able to see them in detail?
oh
Can-
yeah, the
can we-
astronauts.
Can we look at the astronaut variants just real
Yes, we
quick?
can. Hold
Okay,
on. It's in other astronauts.
It's prefabs. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
So
we'll
just
open
double
up.
click on them. So
Oh yeah, that's right. They pop off their own helmets and stuff.
yeah, and they're different ones. So there are different versions, different ages. So this is the kid. This is the 35-year-old. And they get progressively older. So he's in his 50s now.
Yeah, and they get older
starting
because
gray.
if you guys remember, our diversifier was unite generations, and so our idea was so that like all of the astronauts you're saving are different versions of you at different timelines, and you're uniting them.
Now he's got a beard. He's
longer.
in his 60s. He's gray. He is old now.
Whoa, Gandalf beard.
Oh my god!
And
Down
my
to the
favorite.
chest. Oh no, skeleton!
Oh,
This is so cool. I didn't expect this at all.
Yeah,
That's great levels of detail.
yeah.
I want to take a couple of seconds before we wrap up the stream here to kind of talk through some of the community questions, some of which we've already addressed, but one that came up right here. And again, Unity community watching live, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to throw in a couple, and we'll see if we have some time or opportunity to answer them. But the bull on the YouTube side asked, many jammers work remotely with each other, often on differing schedules. Any project management tips for those types of scenarios? And I'll put it to the panel if anyone has anything. I know we kind of talked through some of those tools. If we want to reiterate them or suggest other tips.
Trello was amazing, amazing project management tool just to be able to see all of the different tasks that we have to do. Like in order to have a game, these need to get done, and then sharing that with the team and being able to pick and choose what it is that you want to work on based on your skill sets, I think was great. And then overall, I think starting out with a game design document helped because it allowed all of us to get aligned on what the idea of this game is and what the vision of it is. Because there's so many times where in game development, whether it's indie development, game jams, or even AAA development, you have so many people working on a game, but they all have different versions of this game in their head. And so they're building different versions of the game, and it just doesn't work together when you start putting all the pieces together. So making sure that you have your game design document and everything documented down, and then just like really regularly meet with your team and make sure that they all have the same vision as you do to help make sure that it's a cohesive game experience.
Yeah, communication is definitely very important, and there's no such thing as too much information. Like if you look at our chats, it's literally just like, okay, I made a rock, I put the rock in, okay, I wrote one line of code, okay, and it's like that kind of communication is really important, because sometimes if you don't, talk about what you're actively doing, you could miss something. You could accidentally be working in the same scene, and then you have a merge conflict. But if you, keep your team updated on what you're going to be working on, in what scene, what prefab, you can kind of avoid those situations.
Yeah, I think communication is really kind of the core that makes it successful. And one thing that I found, if I'm at the point where I either don't have time or I'm not coherent enough to actually like physically write something into the chat, I'll take a video and just talk through it and then put the video up in chat and be like, hey guys, this is what I've done. Okay, bye. And it's all about making sure that everybody knows what everybody else is doing, because then even if you are in different time zones and you're not working on it at the same time, it's kind of like you are.
I think it's all great advice. We have another one that kind of came through, and I'm going to twist it and jump off of it a little bit. Raza asking, how old are you as a game maker? I think the intention being, how long have you been making games? And then from that, I'd love to hear, do you think that there is a minimum threshold of experience to participate in a game jam?
No.
Yeah, right off the bat, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, like just
even if you don't know
anything,
if you don't know anything, like figure out like what you can contribute, whether even if it's just project management or contributing ideas to the game design document, or if you wanted to try your hand at scripting something, like grab a small game object or whatever and see like what you can create with it. I think game jams are usually super just like chill, low key, like a great opportunity for you to just learn how to game dev.
Yeah, just being around people that are doing their thing, you absorb certain things. I would say I learned a lot from this game jam. I learned how to use a finite state machine just because I needed to, and I had like 24 hours to learn it. So I put a lot of time into it, and I don't know, learned a lot about level design and, you know, laying out all of these cool spacey objects. Learned a lot from Joy about like collider incidents.
Yeah.
Incidents. You've learned about incidents.
I've learned
There were
about how to
many
put out fires. So you will learn a lot just from like osmosis of being around the people that are making the game with you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's cool. We talked extensively in previous streams about how the teamwork and camaraderie and communication that you guys exemplified was fantastic, and I hope that everyone can find kind of similar dynamics in their own efforts. One final question from me in this community Q&A session. I'm hijacking it, and I'd love to hear from you in the chat as well. Would you guys like to do another game jam? And if Unity live streams created its own, would you participate? So if we hosted something live on this stream, we created our own rule sets, we sent everybody off, encouraged submissions, and then played some of our favorites, would you be interested in participating?
No! I'm just kidding.
Sarah's out. Sarah's off the team. Remove the
I do
credits from
not
the line.
want to. Yes,
Sarah's moving
that
to
would be
Bermuda.
That would be so sick. Nah, guys,
Yeah.
I'm out. I got a vacation.
Peace.
Yeah,
I'd be
James,
down.
we convince you to come back, I guess, right?
I'd be down. So I have
do it.
said that at the very least I would like to participate in Global Game Jam again. Like maybe have it be an annual thing, because it is only 7
Yes.
days out of the week. And, you know, I had the excuses in the past of like, oh, I'm too busy, you know, I'm work, this and that or whatever. But it's 7 days. I can commit to game dev at the very least. So I'm going to try and make that an annual thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing is we just did Crazy Web Game Jam in November. Now we did this one in January. I want everyone to be aware we're not game jamming every other month. That's unattainable.
lot.
That's like we just can't do
We'll die.
that. Everyone's going to fall apart. But I think there are some really cool opportunities. So something that would be fantastic to bring the community together, some very good opportunities for fun content and stuff like that, I think would be really enjoyable. And shout out to everybody in chat. We got Ronaldo saying yes. Cheesy Meatball says it's interesting. I'll note non-committal, but interesting nonetheless. Mage Manta says yes, make a game jam. Yes. Thank you guys. It would be fun. It's something that we'll put on the idea board and come back with hopefully something in the future. One of the other community Q&A kind of moments, more for me than you guys, specifically about live stream content, talking about what we've done here over the last 3 days. And again, a shout out to everybody who's come in and checked out any or all of these streams. Would absolutely, I just want to extend a massive thank you to all of you. But they were also kind of asking about, you know, could we do deeper dives into certain systems and things like that? And the plan for the live streams is that we have a wide variety of content that we want to do. We would love to fall into a more regular schedule, but we will do certain deep dives into systems and tools and tasks and those types of things. If you guys want to take a look at some of the stuff we've done recently, right at the end of December, Sarah actually came on and showed us all how to make a ragdoll. And we had a very fun live stream such situation where the community was together. We provided a extra credit incentive, and the community was all proposing ideas for problem solving there as well. So we have a whole variety of content planned, from feature deep dives to community hangouts to creator spotlights to a whole bunch of different things. I hope that you guys join us on that journey. Again, at the end of it, I would really like for every single stream that you guys come in and you leave feeling more equipped, like you've learned something, or you have hands-on experience with something, or you feel more confident as a game designer, and those types of things. So if you guys don't mind, again, I'm putting the survey in the chat. Go and check it out. Let us know what types of content you want to see. You can see some of the ideas that we have in there as well for concepts that we haven't done yet that maybe we want to try. So your voice and your opinion on these things are very important to us. please go and check out that survey if you haven't already. DJ Turn saying these live streams are a good time. Way to go, Team Unity. Hey, that means
You guys
want to
know a secret?
Absolutely, James.
I know who DJ Turn is.
I thought the secret was going to be that it's you. You are.
And that's actually a very close guess. But he's actually my dad.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
What's up, DJ Turn?
I also saw a Pool Hustler in here, and that's my mom.
Oh my goodness. James's parents showing up?
Yo, I wish my mom was here.
It's a rare
Incredible.
occasion.
Mom, I'm on Unity Twitch.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you guys for showing up and showing support. James's parents. That's fantastic. I love that. My parents still ask me how my podcast is going to my job. So I think that's fantastic. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up. We did it. You guys crushed it. We got through Global Game Jam 2025. We'll throw another link in here for the game for those of you that want to go and check it out. I'll also make sure that it's in the description of the video for the VOD after the fact as well.
Play the game.
Thank you guys. Sarah, James, Joy, you guys were incredible to work with. I had such a fun time. You guys managed this so well. Again, I've given you guys heaps of praise for the way you interacted with each other, but the way that you guys transitioned from like, we're creating a game to also me knocking on your door and being like, but I also have to create a live stream, and you being like, yeah, we got that done. Like, we did it in a 15-minute conversation yesterday. You guys were so well organized, so excited. Your energy and passion was palpable. So thank you guys so very much.
No problem.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
thank you
all
for
in a
being
day's
our
work.
supporter and our cheerleader. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a blast. We'll find an opportunity to do something again for it soon. In the meantime, we'll let you guys know about our Discord and discussions spaces. If you guys are looking for opportunities to connect with the community, if you want to ask questions, look for help, look for collaboration opportunities, those are great spaces to do it. If you guys are in the Discord space, please make sure that you self-assign the live stream role so that I can communicate with you guys when we have schedules or we're going live with streams. There are also events that we populate in the Discord. So if you go in there and engage with them, let people know that you're interested, it will automatically notify you when we go live, which is super important to get you guys in the door here. Our next live stream is on Thursday this week. We're going to be sitting down with a team that created a game called Cat Detective Albert Wild. If you like animals in any way, this game is for you. This game has a detective noir art style theme, and as you can see, the characters are humanoid but with animal heads. So this is Albert Wild on screen that you're seeing here. Come back on January 30th. That's at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. GMT, and we'll be sitting down with that team. They're also going to showcase a handful of their tools, again, hoping that you guys learn something with every single stream. They're going to be talking about their custom toolkits, how they kind of honed in on their production pipeline, and how they set some scenes to kind of emulate film production, which was really cool of a topic. So lots to learn, lots to take away there. That is a Thursday. The event link is live in the chat. You can literally hit that notification bell. Hey, and while we're here, and it's a massive cliche, and it kind of hurts my heart, my sensitive boy heart a little bit over here, please hit that like button or drop a comment letting people know that you like this. It helps us know, and it helps my bosses know that we're doing a good job
that like
here.
button.
Yeah, so
Smash.
I really appreciate it. Again, another thank you to everybody in this room, everybody working to make the live stream possible. To Jack, who ran their first live stream today. Thank you so much, Jack, for being a part of it.
The voice of God.
The voice
Yay,
of God.
it's amazing.
And with that being said, we'll see you all on Thursday. Until that time, my name's Jackson. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.
Bye, James'
everyone.
parents.
Bye.